So, like I said, we've done contrast with respect to typography, and then emphasis, how to use contrast to show emphasis. And we know that the particular type that has a bigger size and has a bigger font width, yeah, and depending on the kind of typeface you use, can actually emphasize. It shows contrast, and I can also actually emphasize on what you want people to see. Okay, so the next now we're going to deal with is proportion. So proportion, we should also remember that all these things we are doing, like I said, we have the components of design. We have our background, we have our image, we have our logo, we have our text. That's for, so this class is majorly based on banner design or poster design or flyer. Yeah, so these are the things that are normally inside these 4 things. All right, so we should understand proportion, scale. We should also understand that the way we scale each and every one of these elements, yeah, also affects our design. The way we scale them also affects our design, our image, our logo, our text. So I'm going to open one design that someone gave me. So someone did, and so you can just look at it. So this is a design that somebody did. All right. So first of all, this design, it can't fly like this because there are a lot of things wrong with it, from my own point of view.
This dot is facing
yeah, so things like that. So there are a lot of things that are wrong with it because it might look flashy and all. Some might look at it and feel it looks good. Yeah, it looks nice and all, but it does not help the person who is reading to get the image clean and clear in a functional way. Your design have to be simple and functional. Yeah, it cannot just be all over the place. We're not painting on canvas. We're not doing Picasso painting all this. I don't know what makes it nice anyway, but people like it.
Yeah,
so that's not what we're doing. So you have to be able to pass the message across. So in terms of scale, like I said now, you have to understand what scale is used, scale or proportion rather. Proportion is normally used to show, like I said, emphasis too. So it's a tool that you can use to show emphasis very, very well. Yeah, the scale of something. It is very, very. If it is very, very important when it comes to showing how important something is. It can also be used to interpret a scene. Let me not go into movies. This is design, so it can be used to interpret something, a scene. What is you are doing? For example, let me go a little bit into movies. For example, if you have let's say you're watching a movie, and that movie there is one, let's say David and Goliath movie. It is our television. David and Goliath movie, and then we are now showing. Let's say we show Goliath like this, probably with his spear in hand, and then we show one tiny David on the ground like this. Let's look at this. This is my two. I'm going to draw another one. We're going to use to compare. Please just follow me. I'm not taking too much this into my drawing. Yeah, too much into my drawing. So this is Goliath. This is his head. This is his shoulder. And he's holding his large spear. And there is this David down. Compared to this. Compared to let's see. This is David. This is David on the ground, assuming. And then you see this tall guy holding a spear. Probably has his very large belt. Then he put his hand on his waist like this.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is me using proportion to show to tell the same pose, the same time in the story.
But yeah, it looks different.
Yeah, well, it looks different. So this looks scary. Why does it look scary? Because we're looking at it from the perspective of David.
David, yes.
So it looks more scary. But if we're looking at it from here, we're looking at this. We're looking at Goliath's angle. You understand? So this is the importance of scale. So this was just on the movie aspect. So the same way, using scale in your designs shows what is more important. Yeah, what is from this picture now you can see that the person they want us to see on this thing is Goliath and how big he is. So that's why he's like this. Yeah. So even in your designs, you have to use scale to determine what is much more important in whatever it is you are designing. What is fundamentally important? What is you are designing? And for this, like this designer is for quotes, like what pastor is saying in church or something. The most important thing in this design from hierarchy, the number one is what he's saying. What he said. That's our number one. So if you want to create emphasis on this design, yeah, you have to make emphasis number one on this thing. So that this is the first thing that anybody will see and want to read. Yes, because they look at it and the fundamental tool of advancement is the mind. That's the first thing that should catch their attention. Some people might not know, someone might not know who pastor is, or might not know what church he's a pastor of, might not even know the Covenant Nation. Yeah. So once the person sees this and this thing grabs attention, wow. Fundamental tool for advancement is the mind. Wow. Then the question is, who said it?
Yes, that's true.
Who said it? Who is this person? So picture. Yeah, the picture. Yeah. Okay, this man that said it. Then next thing, who is the person? Name. You can see his name. Understand, and the date or whatever. Then his name. Is it an establishment?
Where will I get to meeting?
Yeah. Then you see logo. Understand? Now, if the person is a member of church already, or he's a member of church, probably he just saw the quote, and he sees this thing, bam, big letter. Next thing he's saying, he knows pastor, he knows every Covenant Nation, and blah, blah, blah. Next thing, I want to download this message. What's the topic? And he goes here to look at this. But the first thing that will catch his attention will be this one.
But the fact that the person puts the mind on a different color, and also puts some emphasis.
Yeah, he puts this person who designed this thing tried to use contrast to create emphasis, contrast in color to create emphasis on this thing. Yeah, but it was not enough. Apparently, it was not enough. So this design, like I said, if we now want to use scale to correct it, we have to make this quote to be bigger. Let's not be afraid. Some people are afraid of making things bigger. You can always, because we are using design software, you can always make changes if you make mistakes. So we shouldn't be afraid. You can always go back. You shouldn't be afraid to make something bigger. So let's say, go here. Say I make this extra bold. Now for type, you have all this inside here. And so this one is for the size. This one is for the size. This one is for the, I don't know their names. Yeah, leading. So leading is for the line, space between one line and the other. Yeah, so I can actually reduce or increase. Okay? But I always put it on auto first, at least to see. Let it be on auto first. Then you have this guy here. Tracking. Tracking is the space between letters. Yeah, it's not good. Sometimes you might want to increase the space, but for on a normal, just leave it at 0. Like this is a normal, this is how this thing is. Look at it. It even looks better like this. I've not increased the size or anything. Okay, I've increased the size a little compared to this. This is too spaced, too scattered. It's not compact. Yeah. But this, good. So we can now increase the size of this thing if we want to. Okay. But now there's another thing there's another thing that is fighting with the size of this. That's pastor's image. The image is too big. Yeah, compared to what the image and the text are dragging for attention. Yeah, so it's either we make the text bigger, very big, or we reduce the image. And we don't really have space to making this text bigger. So the next thing to do is reduce the image. So I'm going to select the image folder that has the image, and I'm going to reduce it. Reduce it, and let's say take pastor's name. Sorry. Yes, this, and this. Command change. So I'll group them. Transform. So let me move them somewhere here. So I'm not going to redesign this in a whole. Okay, so because there are a lot of other design principles I've not touched. So if I'm doing them, some people might not really understand why I'm making those decisions. So I just want to talk about scale. All right. So, yeah. So this is, in terms of scale, this is better. Kamsi, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to look from back. I see someone just seeing it from
far.
behind.
Okay.
So that's what the person will see first. Text, then picture.
Okay.
So then the logo.
Okay. Okay. So in terms of scale, I'm not done with design, but in terms of scale, you can see how this looks compared to how it was looking before. In case you have forgotten how it was looking before, let me see if I can go back and remind us. Yeah, this is how we were. Yep, this is how we were before. You can go to your navigation bar to see. This helps you to see it well because it's small, so you can actually see what's happening. So between that and this, so this looks more balanced and placed. Yeah, so anybody can see this thing first and read it. It's fundamental tool for, let's say we drag this quotes thing down. This quotation mark. Fundamental tool for advancement is the mind, and it makes more sense. Get that right?
Yeah.
So that's scale. Then in terms of also the scale of the logo, the scale of the topic. All right. So it's the design is pretty much still scattered. Well, I don't want to start talking about, because there are a lot of things here around here that I've not talked about. So I'm just talking about proportion and stuff. So when I start talking about this, we'll visit this design again and make changes. For the insightsforliving.org, fine. So please, whenever you are drawing text on Photoshop, there are different ways of writing your text. You can either click and start writing. Yeah, but this way is very restrictive because I have to be the one to start pressing enter to go to the next line and stuff, and doesn't help your workflow. Yeah, but like if you draw a text box like this, right, you can always increase the size of the text box or shrink it. So it gives you freedom. Yes. So now for this one is, they didn't use a text box, so I'm going to convert it to a text box. So I'm going to select my text tool, right click on the text itself, and go to convert to paragraph text. So that will change it for me.
More like spreading it out with
Yeah.
with this.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. So I can decide to spread this. So everything does not have to be looking alike, and even make it thinner. Yeah, you can see. So there's a difference between the width here and the width here, not the same thing. Put it in the middle. Make sure it's in the middle. That's alignment. I'm not taught alignment, so I can't really explain. I'm going to cut this part of the video out. Let's go to view, go to new guide layouts, make our code into. Yes. Alright, so that's alright. So that's for scale. So you want to use proportion to show what is important and what is not so important in your designs. Yeah. So this is the I can't open that design, but let me look for it anyways. Documents, folder, church. Yeah.
Why did they make this one yellow? Why did they make this one all yellow?
Yeah, so like I said, so if you check here, for contrast too, we use color to show contrast. So I could have decided to just leave it white. When I was designing, I looked at it. If it's looking all white, it's good though. But if it's looking more yellow, it is more attractive. It's more attractive because all the other fonts type are all white, and this is what we want to focus on. So I decided to make this yellow, so it looks different and all. Yes, so that's for